Stop recording button.
Will the passing of Arise News TV anchor Somtochukwu Maduagwu finally enable us to have actual serious conversations about the insecurity issues in Nigeria? Hello and greetings from the Eccentric side. My name is Uche Odogo. If this video makes sense to you, don't forget to like, share, and ensure you are subscribed to the Eccentric side. Now this week we are greeted with the unfortunate passing of Arise TV anchor Somtochukwu Maduagwu, popularly known as Sommie. Now, before her passing, she used to stay in Abuja, and what happened was in the early hours of Monday morning, her apartment where she stays, multi-stories I must add, was under attack from armed robbers. So the armed robbers started from the bottom floors and were doing a sweep, going up, robbing, and doing whatever armed robbers do when they are robbing apartments. And while they were below her floor, she panicked and jumped in order to escape from the robbers. We'll come back to the why eventually, but then she jumped and then fell. News says that she actually did not pass immediately and passed eventually. So what happened was, when she jumped, there are multiple stories as to what happened. Her family says that when the armed robbers were robbing the apartment, the security officers of the building had called police officers, but they did not show up until later after she had jumped. And when she did was when they arrived. And when they did, the reports that I read said that she asked the police officers for assistance to get to the hospital, and then they told her that they had no fuel in their car. How true that is or not, we are yet to confirm because investigations are still ongoing. But that was what the news said. And then before she could finally find alternative ways to get to the hospital and finally got there, hospital was asking for identification before they could treat her, and eventually she passed. So it will seem like she had passed because of the failings of the Nigerian system. First, security. Insecurity issues in the country seems to be getting worse and worse, and it looks like, as in our regular tradition in the country, we just tend to forget all these things that are going on. We just laugh, it's vibes, we move on to the next interesting thing. We are very short span in our we have a very short attention span, because something happens, we just look for the next interesting thing and we have forgotten what happened. Remember what happened 2010-20? Yes, that happened, and before you know it, we all moved on. We did remembrance once. I don't think there was one this year. This year was the third year anniversary. Was it third? 2010-20. Fifth year anniversary actually. Oh, and it's still on the way. We'll see what happens eventually. But the point is, something happens in the country, and then something new comes. I don't know if it's a Nigerian thing or a human thing, but I found out that in Nigeria it looks worse, because once the next news comes around, we forget what we were protesting for, what we were angry about, and we move on. And it looks like this is what those who are supposed to be correcting the faults in the system are taking advantage of. Because now it has happened, people are complaining, people are talking about insecurity, what is going on in Abuja, of all places, the nation's capital territory, what is going on. But then, in the next few days, in fact, by Sunday, we'll be having the finale for Big Brother Niger. I am highly certain that will become what we'll be having conversations about less than a week since what happened to Sommie. So the insecurity system seems to be, because if you properly look at it, so yes, it's sad that she passed, but then she's just one person. One life too many. Yes, I understand that. But then she's just one person. Tens and hundreds of people have been passing in the north, in that same northern Nigeria that Abuja belongs to. But we don't seem to hear and feel it the way we felt hers Maybe we are feeling because if she's an influential person. I mean, TV show hosts, lawyer of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, journalists, beauty queen, multiple hats on her head before she passed. So maybe that is the reason why this is trending. Plus, obviously, the traction that her organization, where she works with, Arise News, comes with, to make sure that the complaints are heard. But then she's one person. And then what happens to others who do not have anybody to complain for them? We have banditry, we have terrorism, we have kidnappings all around happening on a weekly basis. We had that popular one that happened in Benue. I think that 200 people or so were killed in the community. Not a lot of news happened. Yes, we spoke about it, but who is talking about it today? Everybody forgot. We laughed. We moved on to the next interesting thing. Multiple events like this. In fact, if not that it's trended abroad and people were talking about the genocide of Christians in northern Nigeria, we have not spoken about it. That's the only reason why we are talking about it. Very Dark Man did a video about it, and people are talking about it. The president even addressed it in his Independence Day presidential speech. But at the end of the day, why we are talking about it is because they are talking about it for us. Because this has been happening over and over and over and over and over again. But then we don't pay attention to these things because we feel it's not our business. We in the South, we don't pay attention to these things. And those in the North are not properly educated and do not have the actual proper tools to make this trend the way it's supposed to. They don't have the numbers of, educated, literate, social media sites to make this knowledge online. So most time they're able to make it for them, and then we in the South are largely uninterested in this matter. And so it took people from abroad to tell us about the genocide going on in our country before we thought it was an important issue to talk about. Isn't that sad? So the security system failed her and she passed. Then the hospitals. What exactly do you mean by because they don't have means of identification, you're not going to treat them? You took Hippocratic oaths, which means that you have to save lives. Two people have passed in your hospital because of your weird. I thought we had passed this in this country. And then we wonder why people, instead of taking medical attention in the country, decide to go out of the country for basic issues. In fact, the former president, may he rest in peace, Muhammad Buhari, going abroad to see an ENT doctor, what we are told to be treating here in the country. And they wonder why. It's because, although the leaders one is a different matter, but then common people like you and I that have the resources to go abroad, they will go abroad because they want the best. At the end of the day, you are going to the hospital because you want to get well, you want to get better, you want to move on, you want your health back. And so when you are going to a hospital that looks like they are rather interested in their rubbish bureaucracy than paying attention to your life, obviously you want to go to where there's some level of sanity in the system, where doctors know that their first point of call is to treat you in order to save your life before they can think of any other thing. So they go to the hospital and you're asking for means of identification for what? It's supposed to be, I don't know, I mean, my life is drained away from me. Where is my ID? Or where is my, I don't understand. What exactly were you thinking that she's coming into the emergency of your hospital with, I don't know, ID cards? It's common sense that you save life first. So I do not know what will happen. I do not know if this will actually make people to start actually looking at these things. Because hospital save lives first. So I wonder what will happen. Who was the doctor in charge? Who actually told them? God refused to believe that all our hospitals and all our doctors and all our medical practitioners are this, I don't know what to use, but are this inconsiderate? I do not want to believe that. I want to believe that there were some bad actors that were at play here. So who was this particular person? Who told them that they need a means of identification for treatment? Whoever the person is, the regulatory agencies that ensures doctors and medical practitioners have the best um, practices when they are on duty. Whoever the agency is, I really don't know what it is right now, but whoever the agency is needs to come out and tell us what disciplinary actions are being taken against people so that people will understand the importance of saving lives, the importance of doing your job. So more actions needs to be taken in that space. And then the police officers that apparently or that apparently said they do not have fuel and so they can't rush someone to the hospital. I don't understand. If this is true, allegedly, if this is true, that first of all you were called, that what was going on, you waited, you probably took a plate of food to ensure that you have the energy to go and fight criminals before you now landed, and then you landed without fuel. How exactly does this make sense? Because I mean, we watch movies every day. We know that most of the time, or oftentimes, a police gets to a scene of a robbery attack, the armed robbers take cover, there's a car chase. So let's assume that from our movies that we're watching, there's actually a car chase. So they're not going to pursue them because they don't get for fair for their car. We see go happen. These things are just sad, actually. If this is true, allegedly, if this is true, it is sad. It is sad because I do not know if it is from whoever is managing the police, maybe they are I don't know what they call the logistics or whoever, instead of ensuring that all their tools are in the proper standard. How do you carry a car out without petrol inside and ways to drive it? I don't believe that was the case. How or it was there was fuel, but they just don't want to do anything. They just want to prefer to sit down and be lazy. I don't believe that is the case, but if that's the case, we need to investigate and know what exactly is going on, what exactly happened here. How can we prevent this in the future? Because going beyond RIP, 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 what can we do to avoid this situation in the future? I trust the guys at Arise News will be, ensuring and advocating for that. But on our own part, what can we do? You as an upcoming doctor, you as an upcoming lawyer, you as an upcoming, teacher, whatever profession you are going into, how can you ensure that when you get to these places of power, these places of responsibility, that you don't repeat these same mistakes that have been repeated in this situation? And then Minister of the FCT, yes, on Wiki. These are the kind of things that you're supposed to pay attention to. Not what is going on in reverse, not fighting to be political godfather or whatever you're fighting for. These are the kind of things that are your business. You have a job as the minister of which is in all sense and purposes, the governor of Abuja. So this is where your mind is supposed to be in. What are you going to do about this? What are you going to do to make the streets of Abuja safer, to make citizens, residences of the state feel like they can come back home, sleep without being harassed in the night, they can walk on the streets no matter the time in the night and be sure that there's not going to be anybody trying to snatch their personal belongings from them? What can you do? This is where your mind, this is where your business is. Can you please focus on this? Hopefully, this won't happen again. And then lastly, before I go, I think it won't be nice of me if I do not mention a strange happening that I'm seeing here. So, I'm about the robbing from the ground floor going up. You're not on the, for what it sounds like, she was not on the first floor, so ground floor, first floor. She She was not on the first floor. It does not sound like it, at least. It sounded like she was above that. Maybe second, maybe third. I'm not sure what exactly the floor is, I must confess. But it does not sound like she was on the first floor. So the armed robbery is in place. 15 guys, probably with weapons that can kill you. And then you are hearing them coming up. And then you jump. I don't understand. Yes, I know that I may be coming to a quick conclusion on this. I know I may be jumping into conclusion. But I do not understand how you are trying to escape from your properties being taken away from you, and the best way is to jump. I don't understand. How does that, I don't know, make sense? I'm trying to be as sensible and sensitive as I can be here, but I'm actually just trying to understand here. I want to understand. So please, if you do understand and you can help explain, comment section. How does this work? Is it the tension? Probably it was at that point. I've never been that point before. Trust me, believe me. I know what I might do if I'm in that situation. God forbid I get in that situation. But if that is what happened, if it's the tension, probably when they were coming up and she was feeling she needed to get away from there quick and fast, and that was the solution she could come up with. I do not know. I also do not know if, I don't know, maybe she was not thinking the tension, or maybe she was feeling like if she stays there, she might not be able to live past it, and so she just had to get away. Oh, I think another solution, another reason that might be because I understand that she is an advocate for advocate against gender-based violence. So probably she was thinking along the lines of, if they catch me and they recognize that I'm a popular person and good looking as well, maybe some form of violence maybe carried against her person. I do not know if that was what happened here, but please, I need to understand what's happened. Why was jumping off a story building the solution to getting away from robbers? Because if the armed robbers were dedicated, they would have still eventually gotten up to your floor and robbed you after you jumped out. So maybe you're just trying to ensure that it's only the property they take. I don't know. Please explain to me in the comment section, and let me know if you think I'm making sense or I'm not making sense. You can feel free to tell me as well. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe to the Eccentric side. We are back. We're trying to get this off the ground. We're trying to understand where we go from here. So please help grow the numbers, and so that I can try to turn out more frequent content, more quality content. Look out for all that. So till next time when I come your way, from me to you is stay eccentric.